You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Welcome to the Dressage Today podcast's Training Buzz. These short podcasts bring you the best tips straight from our subscription video site, Dressage Today On Demand. To get full access to all our videos, go to ondemand.dressagetoday.com and enter promo code DTPodcast to save 15% off your subscription. Now, listen in on this week's buzz and enjoy the ride. Today we hear from four-time Olympic team bronze medalist and former technical advisor for the U.S. dressage team, Robert Dover. He discusses the 3 types of the rider's seat, along with his philosophy of riding a complete half-halt.
The things that we want to know that we have, obviously, are that first basic of forward, which we say is already pretty good, coming from the set of driving aids. The 2 legs that can push the horse forward independently. Each leg could say, hey, go. And the horse goes, okay, I'll go. And the seat. And how we use our seat is one of the biggest things that professionals are supposed to teach young people, amateurs, and all adult riders. Because the seat, in the end, when you really learn this and you get this at the craft of dressage, and then it goes to become really an art once we understand the craft, if we're able to go that far, is that the seat ends up being really 80% of how we communicate. And the leg and the rein in the end, the legs in our hands should end up being 20%. And usually the problem is that it's the opposite of that. The riders are riding 80% with their legs and their hands and 20% with their seat, influencing the horse. So for instance, right now, you're sitting what we call with a passive seat. It's elegant, upright, look great on a horse, but you're sitting passively, and that's right. To activate the seat and to make the seat a driving aid, what most people don't know and don't think about is that the breath is the beginning in all sports and most arts. The breath is taught as an integral part of that sport or that art. For instance, a diver that goes to the end of a diving platform and is going to do this great dive, Greg Louganis and these great divers of the past, they go to the end of the platform, they clear their mind, and then this is the next part that I'm going to talk to you in a minute. They see in their mind's eye, they clear their mind, they see in their mind's eye the dive that they're about to do. Okay? We're going to talk about that in a second too. And then they take in a deep breath, they crouch down, and they create, they leap up on the breath out, and they do this dive. Fencers, they breathe in, breathe out. Think of a weightlifter. A weightlifter could not lift the weight if on the way down they didn't take in a big deep breath. On the exhalation, they lift the weight. Riders, to begin a half-halt, to begin to think, I'm going to drive with my seat. Think right now, taking a big deep breath. Look what just happened to your chest. Your chest rose up. Your shoulders went back. And then the thing that you do with that is as you take in that breath and all of this air goes in and the oxygen goes to your muscles, now tighten those muscles, right? All the way down into your sitting bones. Now imagine you're on a swing. Like when you were a little kid next to your best friend on a swing set, and you said, okay, I'm going to race you to the top. Let's see who can get to the top. And without knowing it, and even if your feet couldn't touch the ground, you would, as you were going back on the swing, you'd be taking a big deep breath, and you'd push like this. You'd push the swing with that kind of active body language, up higher. And with each time you went back, you'd breathe in, push when you'd breathe out. And you do it the same way runners breathe in and breathe out.
Sure.
They are using their breath, okay? So that is the breathing in. Then you say, I'm going to close my legs, and I'm going to push that swing forward, the cantle toward the pommel. The horse goes, oh, I feel that. I'm going to move forward. Good horse.
Right.
And then the breath out is the end of that, right? Now, there's a third way the seat can be, though, because, tell me her name.
Well, I call her Happy.
Happy. So if Happy suddenly, out of nowhere, like horses can be, took the bit in her teeth and went running towards the other end of the arena, you wouldn't be in a passive seat in that moment, right? But you also wouldn't be doing what I just said of being active driving. So the third way the seat can be is that you would probably take in a breath, and you'd probably be sitting like this and closing your leg against the saddle and taking backwards, and that's called the braced, stilled seat. It's braced against the forward motion of the horse.
Right. Sure.
That's the third way that the seat can be. So it can be passive, it can be active driving, and it can be active stilled, sitting against the motion of the horse. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's important that we talk about that, because we're talking about half-halts and making her come to understand that she needs to not only think forward, but you have to know how to bring her back while thinking forward still.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So then the horse is now going forward on the driving aids, those 3 driving aids. She also has to be straight on straight lines and bent on bent lines. And you're at this level where that's obviously now, we know that. Mm-hmm. And that's always worked on. It's part of the balancing of her to be properly straight on straight lines and bent on bent lines, meaning that the aids to bend her, the inner leg used at the girth being the center of gravity, we're sitting over that area of the girth, right? Mm-hmm. So our inner leg presses the girth out, and the horse says, okay, I'll pull my haunch out too. So your outer leg is back slightly to keep the hindquarters from swinging out. And the third of the 3 bending aids that bend the front end to match the bend that we created in the horse's trunk from our legs, the inside hand closed into a fist says, okay, nose, come to the inside as well. And you have now the 3 bending aids. When those bending aids, just like when the driving aids are used and she reacts, the bending aids you use, she reacts, and you say, okay, thanks, I can relax those aids. Okay? Mm-hmm. And the third of the 3 sets of aids, by itself a set, the outside rein, the aid or the rein of opposition. Mm-hmm. Because as you drive and you say, oh, I don't want you to go faster than this, girl, Happy, I'll close my outside hand in a fist, and she says, okay, I won't go faster. Also, as you're bending with those aids, right, and she says, I'll bend more, you say, outside hand, closed in a fist, don't bend too much, and now we have the 3 sets of aids. They're working together. And when you breathe in and close your legs and close your fist, she says, I'm being driven. I'm also with bending aids on. I'm bending more. But Mom just closed her outside hand into a fist, thereby saying, I'm shutting an imaginary door in front of Happy's nose that open would have let her speed up and bend more, but now closed, she says, I'll yield there. But if she's being driven still, what are her hind legs going to do? They're going to come more under. And as they bend more and come under, her haunch lowers. And as her haunch lowers, her forehand goes up, but not up from her head, right? Up from her withers.
Right.
The center of gravity goes back. You've got beautiful new balance and attention. And you relax your outside hand again. You relax the driving seat. And that's the doorway called the half-halt. That is, by definition, bringing the horse to a perfect state of balance and attention, through which we make every change of bend, of movement, of pace, of gait, and ultimately of balance. All right? That's the whole deal, our half-halts.
We hope you enjoyed this bonus podcast. What would you like to learn about, and what tips would you like to hear? Email me, Stephanie, at sruff@equinenetwork.com, or reach out to us on social media. Remember, go to ondemand.dressagetoday.com and enter promo code DTPodcast to save 15% off your subscription to our online catalog. Thanks for listening.